Moving on to the next story, which I think is a good next story because it has to do with the monies. So this is from The Verge. PlayStation 5 games will cost up to $69.99. The era of $70 game is here. Sony revealed a release date and price for its next-gen console, the PlayStation 5, alongside news of its launch titles and upcoming games. According to a post on the PlayStation blog, games from, quote, our own worldwide studios titles will be priced from US $49.99 to US $69.99, end quote. Although not unexpected, the price point is a jump from the current era of consoles, which typically run at about $60 for a new game. Launch day titles such as Blueprint's Demon's Souls Remake and Destruction All-Stars will be the first to carry the new price point. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, another launch day title that acts as an expanded version of Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales for $49.99, will be available for $69.99 as well. And he goes on and talks about a couple other examples. So I mentioned this in our Slack, and I'm not mad at this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the amount of stuff that we're getting in video games justifies a $10 bump.
As long as it's not like Star Wars, where you get like a quarter of the game and then everything else is on DLC.
Yeah, I think if
and
it was like that, it would.
DLC.
Yeah, I think that would backfire immediately. If you're like, hey, you're charging us more up front, but this isn't the full game. Like, you're talking about Battlefront 2.
Yes, exactly. But it's been a discussion for years at this point, and there's some games that are better at it, but I feel like that's still halvesies. Like half the games are doing better.
I will say this though, that's the $60 game has been, or the games for $60 have been like the standard since I started playing video games. Like I remember when I had Nintendo 64 and I went to go buy SSX 1080, that was $60. So if you compare that game to The Last of Us 2 and they're the same price, do you know what I mean? I'm like, The Last of Us 2 costs a lot more.
You make an annoyingly good point.
Yeah.
but I think I'm right in saying, I might be wrong, it's a while ago now, but I feel like N64 games were all 60, whereas I think PlayStation had started around 50 because the disc format was a little cheaper. I feel like I remember...
It was slightly less.
PS2 was... I remember PS2 being $50. Because I mean, around when N64 was around, I was a little too young to remember what the prices were. But I remember specifically PS2 is when I was like actually following like buying actual games. They didn't just show up because Randy got them. They were always $50, and then I remember the next generation. And like I remember that price jump from 50 to 60, and it's been like that for like almost 15 years now, from what I remember. It's just a solid $60.
I mean, I wouldn't mind paying $100 if that meant, you know, I get an entire game in one go, like back in the good old days.
Don't encourage them.
I really wouldn't.
Don't say that.
Those Sony execs listening.
I'm serious though. I would rather pay the $100 from the upfront instead of having to wait, 6 or 7 months or a year for a DLC. Then I have to pay for that, and it ends up being $100 already. But I have to wait. You're loving Final Fantasy VII right now. If the entire game, as in the entire game, like from the original Final Fantasy VII came for $100, you'd be happy with that. Absolutely.
That'd be like 40 hours or more gaming.
I mean, it's already at 40 hours, which is great. Okay. But it's missing a lot of the original content, which is going to come out in like 2 to 3 parts. And now, 100%. I would pay $100. We're going to have
to pay $60 or $70 for those other parts.
I'd pay $300. And none of you can stop.
Same. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Pay $1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I would.
What
pay
are we bidding for again?
Well, I mean, like, look at like the amount of entertainment and time. Like, you're paying like $30 when movies were open. You would pay $30 to go watch a 2.5-hour movie with popcorn and shit like that. But we're paying $60 for hours of entertainment. Like 100, 200 hours of entertainment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I'm not mad at the $70 increase.
I was just going to say I'm on the other side of that, where in one way I can definitely see the argument, because the way that they're, the way that DLC and whatnot and loot boxes and all that crap, like if you look at, I don't even try and keep up with FIFA's like card system anymore. I just buy the game and I'm like, that's that. But if I was going to pay $60 or $100 for a game, I also need to know that it's not a download that I can't return, because I would pay that for a game that I'm like 100%, I love this, and I'm going to play it for the next 3 months or something. But if
Kingdom
I
Hearts,
make,
you fucking piece of shit.
if I'm, Game Pass has changed me. Game Pass has changed me. I don't pay more than $10 a month for anything.
Yeah.
No, but I just, for me, the way I play games, I don't think I put in enough to justify the cost of that. Tony Hawk's is the opposite, because I've been playing like crazy. And it's the first game I've completed and done a lot of collectibles. And it was even cheaper. It was like $40 because they knew it was a remake. Yeah, I know. But I'd probably pay $100 for that if they gave me 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think everyone's got a different price for different games. But it would suck if you bought, let's say, a Battlefront and you're like, I don't like this, and I've just paid $100 for it and I can't return it. So.
Well, that's exactly the problem I ran into with Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm bringing this up again.
You were burned.
Son of a bitch.
I was burned so hard. I was like, we were waiting for so long, and like I bought the collector's edition. I was so fucking hyped, and I think the collector's edition was like upwards of 80, 90, close to $100. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking love this game. Here's my card, bitch, cha-ching. And I was burned hard.
You shouldn't speak to your mum like that, but carry on.
Oh.
Jesus.
Shouldn't have done a mum joke. There's two brothers to the same mother on this.